Hey, what's going on, you guys? It's Toby's Talk Show. This is episode number 49. And as you can see, this is a bit of a short video today. And basically, I just want to talk about a few of the trades that have gone down today. So obviously, it is Monday, November 16th, and that means that trades are officially allowed to happen as the draft is Wednesday. And after that, free agency starts, and then in a month, the season starts. So obviously, a lot is going down right now. And obviously, I want to specifically talk about the huge trade of the day, at least when I'm recording this at 2:30. Maybe Russell Westbrook gets traded today. Maybe Harden has some more news. But right now, the biggest trade of the day is definitely the Chris Paul to the Suns trade. I've seen King of the Fourth Quarter just talk about some big NBA news that has gone down. And I want to try to also, just a quick video, give my opinion on it. Not look anything up, just give my honest, blatant opinion on the situation. So with the Chris Paul to the Sun trade, obviously we know that Chris Paul and Nader, who really cares, went to the Suns for Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, Jalen LeCue, and Ty Jerome, and a first-round pick. So I honestly think it's a win-win for both teams. I think the Suns could have given up a little less, but we'll talk about each side and the overall trade. And yeah, so with the Thunder, we all knew Chris Paul was going to get traded this year. Right after Billy Donovan got fired, we knew that the Thunder were going to go down a different route. Billy Donovan's not that bad of a coach. The Bulls picked him up pretty quickly, and I think he's going to do great for the Bulls. But he was this guy that wants to win now, and the Thunder were looking at a different direction. As we know, before this trade and before the Dennis Schroeder trade, the Thunder had 14 first-round picks in 6 years. They had their young centerpiece in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And they had a lot of older guys that were not needed. You have Danilo Gallinari there, who's probably going to leave as well. Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder's on his last year, and he was going to want big money, and he's not that young anymore. This Thunder team, it shocked a lot of people. They made it to the 5th seed. It's great. They were able to get Russell Westbrook's contracts off the books. They were able to get Chris Paul. Chris Paul played phenomenal for them this year. Brought them to the 5th seed, lost to the Rockets in 7. I mean, you really can't ask more from that Thunder team. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a great season for the Thunder, and now it's time to rebuild because, obviously it's great that they made the 5th seed, but every team's one goal in the NBA is to win the championship each and every season, and the Thunder are not going to be able to do that with the roster they have now. They need to rebuild. It is what it is. If you don't have that cornerstone franchise player right now, but you have a young guy, you should probably go down that rebuilding round. That's what the Thunder are doing with Shai. So with all the trades they've done recently with the Paul George and Russell Westbrook, they knew those two weren't going to work out. They traded them, got 7 first-round picks in total from that deal. Sam Presti, got to give it up to him. He traded Russell Westbrook and Paul George for like 7 firsts, Ricky Rubio, a year of Chris Paul, obviously Kelly Oubre, and the list goes on and on. But yeah, and Shai. So it was really incredible about what Presti did. Obviously realizing the situation at hand. Look, we're not going to win, and he's rebuilding. So obviously, just in short, the Thunder, it makes sense. Get more first, get younger players like a Kelly Oubre, go be there for a few years, and see what you could do with your team. And just try to win games, but you'll always have these other teams' first-round picks anyway. And yeah, maybe lose some games yourself. Maybe pick up an Amani Bates, Cade Cunningham franchise player, and restart your rebuild like you did when you had Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook. Now for the Suns, I think this also makes sense also. And the reason why I say that is because, obviously I think the Suns got a little bit ripped off. And what I mean by that is, I felt like they could have gotten away with like Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, maybe another player in a second. They had to give up their first, which I know it's protected, but it's still a first. The Thunder are going to get that 1 year. If it's not next year, it's going to be the year after, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like the Suns gave up a little too much for a 30. I think he's 36 right now, going to be 36, maybe. I'm not sure. Chris Paul, who's making $40 million a year for the next 2 years, obviously is going to opt into that contract. But I understand it. Obviously, they gave a little too much for someone that's only getting older, but you're only really worried about Devin Booker, and Devin Booker is obviously, obviously the Suns went 8-0 in the bubble, and it seemed like his hopes and he seemed very happy with the situation he was in. But we obviously know since pretty much year 2, when the Suns were absolute garbage, no improvement with a great young star in Devin Booker, he was angry with the situation. I think Devin Booker's played 5 years now, maybe 4, but whatever the case is, maybe he's going into 5. He might be going into 6. I'm not really sure, but he has never made the playoffs in his career. And I understand that it could be angry, especially how good of a player he is. Obviously, right now they have DeAndre Ayton, and he's a great 15 and 10 guy who's learning how to shoot the ball a little bit better. And with getting Chris Paul, that kind of locks you in at least getting that 8th, 9th, 10th seed and fighting for a playoff spot. Because obviously this year they're doing the different thing where the 9th and 10th seed are going to fight for a spot, play a best of 3 with the 7th and 8th seeds, just like last year with the Grizzlies and Blazers. So I understand it for the Suns. They want Devin Booker to be happy, and if Devin Booker requests trade because, let's say, they didn't trade for Chris Paul and they were 30 and 52 again, they're screwed. Like, sure, they have their picks, but Devin Booker is a generational talent, could score on anyone. Defense is not the best, but it's still a very, 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 very good talent. And, I understand that you want to protect keeping your franchise player, even though it may cost a little bit more than you wanted to, with a player that can leverage them to the playoffs like Chris Paul did with the Thunder. So, I completely understand that. I think it's a win-win for both teams. I think Suns get to keep Booker, keep the Suns franchise intact, and the Thunder just get to keep rebuilding like a young team. Presti's done an amazing job. Better than my Knicks, so good for the Thunder. And a few other news. So that was my opinions on that trade. And then the Bruce Brown trade, I think the Nets fleeced them. You might not have heard of that trade, but the Nets traded got Bruce Brown for Musa in a second. Bruce Brown's a great player, could be a great bench player for the Nets, especially if they get another star, who knows. And then with the DeMar DeRozan opted in. That's not surprising, guaranteed at $28 million. He still might get traded. And then Anthony Davis opted out, which is also not surprising as he's going to get that maximum deal, most likely 95% from the Lakers. So yeah, guys, the James Harden news, I'll get back to that. Obviously, there's some stuff about the Nets, but I want to get more news on it before we get into it. And maybe also the Russell Westbrook situation. Maybe I'll wait till he gets traded. Maybe I won't. We'll figure it out. But I did want to give my thoughts on the Chris Paul trade, as that was pretty big news in the NBA world. First of many big news next week. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you for episode 50. Hopefully it's a banger. And yeah, guys, have a good day. Peace out.